Hey, welcome back, and it's another little trip to the grocery store, and this time I've actually saved 3 receipts. One receipt was on the 10th of the 12th, then we went back on the 13th, and now we've just been back again on the 17th, which is today. So I thought I'd give you an idea. You've obviously seen any of these receipts. You've already seen what we get for the money that we get. Now, I could give you a load of bullshit and tell what a wonderful life we're living. There are challenges. We are what you would call house poor, and that's the situation. So we live very modestly, and we put the money into the resort which we are getting. Now, it got to be quite silly because we're also still trying to support our students through their college. Now, we've managed to do some. We're not always, since the COVID really killed a lot of donations. A couple of the biggest donors, supporters, one was supporting us from the profits of his foundation, the investments that his foundation made, and that one had to stop because, as he said, when COVID happens, and things have changed. I'm now allowed to say COVID without being knocked on the head, and he wasn't able to continue supporting us. Now, having said that, our issue is that we don't conduct ourselves in a business-like way. It's a fact of life. And when Beth earns money from what she does, apart from our channel, and the money that the channel brings in is a very, very small amount in dollars, it's still worth having in pesos, as all donations are worth having. You could send a donation to help somebody and a student of $5, and it would actually make a difference. But I'm not trying to get money for our charity. I'm trying to give anybody that is planning on coming as a foreigner to the Philippines, trying to give you an idea, a truthful idea of what life can be. Now, because we have a very ambitious target out there. This is our house that you're seeing, and we also have an ongoing project which personally, realistically, I think is a 5-year project which we've been doing for 2 years now, and still a long way to go. But having said that, we're not very businesslike in our money dealings. A few of our subscribers and donors, I should say, just throw their hands up in the air when they know that we've been giving, when we haven't actually got a lot. So it's difficult to say no when someone comes and they need, well, if they're asking for rice, it really is difficult. We can't do it. We can't do it. So when I get food, when I get even stuff like this, which is, let me see, yes, that's, well, guisado. There's a few things here which I've got for me. Beth is on a restricted diet and really just mainly eats rice and the meat that we get. So we live very modestly. I buy fruit, which is not always a great successful thing, except for me. These are the treats that I will buy Beth. So they are seedless grapes, and she loves those. So every time I go there, I always get those. For me, I get an orange. So apart from that, eggs. This is corned beef. I get the baked beans, and this time we've had, not we, me, my friend Michael, who I meet every Tuesday and Friday, had told me that they've got bacon in the store. Now for you guys who enjoy, have the joys of bacon anytime that you want it, it's not the same here on our little island, and this is a huge step forward. It's a block of bacon. How much did it cost me? Oh my God, it cost 600 pesos. I must have got the big pack. Well, I'll go to hell on that one because I'm really not supposed to have bacon, am I? It's one of those forbidden meats, isn't it? Normally we eat the other white meat. We used to eat a lot of chicken. We now eat mostly pork. Well, all of the meat that we get in a bag like this. I have to make the bag up myself. I pick it out of the big tray on the counter there, which is a long counter. I'll make a video of it sometime so you can see how it is, although I'm really not supposed to do that, which has always been a very big distraction for me. Anyway, I'll make a video and show you what that looks like. So today, on working backwards, let me see, the 17th, I actually got, let me see, I got the fresh eggs still at 127 for a dozen. You can work out for yourself whether you think that that's it. I added all of these together right now, adding it up. The 10th, on the 10th, I spent 1,926. Let's call it 2,000 pesos. Spent 2,000 pesos. Then we went back again on the 13th. It doesn't seem like a lot for what we got. We got rid of all of that meat. Now this is probably because we had visitors and we ate more than we cooked. We didn't eat more than we normally do, but if we have talak like here, as you can see, I make up a bag which is, in my estimation, supposed to give us the meat for one meal. If Talak sees 2 or 3 bags in there, she'll cook the whole thing, and we eat like kings. And then the next day, we're back at the supermarket again. So I'm thinking, back to the beginning, 2,000 pesos, then I spent 1,111 pesos, and I'll tell you what I got for that. And today I spent 2,293, and that will, even living modestly, that will see us probably over Christmas, as long as we can keep talak away from the freezer and from cooking the meals. So these, as I always say, I get things like this, tuna affritada. Yes, I know that if you're living very healthy, canned food is not what you should be doing. I'm well aware that if you're trying to cut sugar out of your diet, even baked beans have sugar. Now, we can hope that maybe we will follow suit to the changes that come about in the US, and now that RFJ Jr. is going to have some influence over bringing about some pressure on people who do these things and put sugar into baked beans, they're going to be having pressures put on them to not do that. Now, I used to get, for instance, I got these you buy singly, that's 39 pesos. 39 pesos as against 59 pesos for $1. So this is about 60 pesos, 60 cents is what I'm thinking. So that seems quite expensive to me, but it's good for you. It's these are, I think, I don't know whether these are local grown or not. But anyway, I used to get tomatoes, and I used to get them in a pack like this. And there was, even though they looked fine and felt firm and tasted okay, not wonderful, but okay, but there was just a slight smell about them that smelled a little bit musty. So I would assume that with my suspicious mind, well, I'm not that suspicious, that they were doing something which would prolong the life of the tomato and give them more time to sell it, which is what they probably did. So what have I mainly got today is that I've got meat, I've got some canned food, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cans of food which will provide a meal for me when Beth, we usually eat maybe 2 meals a day. Sometimes Beth only eats one and then a snack of a smaller meal, which will still be rice. We're trying to get her to cut down on rice. We used to eat a lot of chicken. Now she, for some reason, has gone out of eating chicken and wants to continue to eat pork, which is her favourite meat. Her favourite is actually any seafood, so crab, prawns, all of that kind of seafood. She absolutely loves fish, the dried fish, what foreigners here call stinky fish, and we don't have any of that. So I can easily give up chicken because I enjoy pork, and Beth does this. Her repertoire of meals is one where she cooks pork on the bone while it comes off the bone when it's cooked. Now, what I've started to do is I've started to buy this kind of meat where it is just meat. You can see this is not on the bone. Now that's enough for a very generous portion for me, and it's 82 pesos. So this, what's the weight on that? Net weight 262 kilograms, and that we'll cook the meat on the bone for the broth which we enjoy with the rice, and this will be in part a meal which is easy for me. I'm not so good at getting that meat off the bone, it drives me crazy, so I buy this for me now, and then she cooks for her all together, and then we eat together. So that's it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 lots of meat, which will definitely last us for 4 meals to 5 meals. And that, let me see, that was on the 17th, and that cost for those 4, pork on the bone 106, 107, 115, and then the small meat that I just showed you was 46, and the other one pork bones. Now I got smoked bacon, the one that I showed you the pack, and this one cost 600 pesos, but that actually that's a lot of meat. Is it? That's an entire kilo of meat. Now, I don't know whether Beth will eat this. I'll have to cook this, I think, and maybe she'll eat it, maybe not. If she doesn't eat it, you can twist my arm and I'll eat it all myself. Health be damned. Well, demands on health are changing, aren't they? So, there we have it. If you add all of these bills together from the 10th up to the 17th is in 1 week, but will give us 2 weeks of food. That's my estimation. This will last us now for 2 weeks because we've already got food. Now, what I did do was I bought a bag of Kamiya rice, and this is 5 kilos. Now we get through a lot of rice. It's Filipino house. We get through a lot of rice. Rice is life, as you may, if you don't know that, and you're coming to the Philippines, you'll soon know that, is that the average Filipino or Filipina thinks that they'll die if they don't have rice today, and they can't understand it. Every time I go in, I usually go in and have breakfast. I have what I think of as my basic protein needs, and I have them at PP Coffee. For me, a wonderful restaurant, simple, and wonderful staff, and treat me like I'm one of the family. That's because I've been going in there almost every day for years. So I'm the old man in the corner, I think. Anyway, when I go in there, we have a standard, about looking at like this, we have a standard, I don't know what the weight is, but it's at least a large cup of rice, but it's more like a small bowl like this, and I dump that on, and that's the portion that's always served wherever you go, except our tourists who've now started doing it in very, very small portions like this and selling a lot of them. It's all about money, isn't it? So I go in there and I order 3 eggs, and it comes with, as I say, a portion of rice like this, which I only eat a third of. So I try to cut down on the amount of rice that I eat. Try to get Beth to cut down on the amount of rice, but it is very difficult, and she has all kinds of tricks that she does so that she can eat the same amount of rice, even while pretending to herself that she is actually cutting down on the amount of rice that she's have. And she does this by, the rice comes to our table when we have dinner, and it comes on a served plate, and then we help ourselves from that. My own particular way of doing that, of limiting the amount of rice, is I only put the amount that I think I can eat healthily on my plate, and then I try not to add any more rice. What Beth does is she helps herself to a small portion of rice, which is followed by another small portion of rice, and another, and possibly, if she's really feeling like rice is life, she might add even another until it's all gone. I keep saying with my foreigner logic, don't put so much rice on the main plate. Yes, well, that's another thing, isn't it? So, here we are with this much that we have spent. Add these together and we have spent 5,330 pesos in 1 week. Now, that would put, if we did that every week, which somehow I think not, I think it varies. But this is the evidence that I have, is the 3 bills, and this tells the story without any embellishment from me. And I add them all together, and it's looking like 330. Now, it can vary a lot. Now, as I said, we live very modestly, and this doesn't contain lots of expensive vegetables and stuff like that, so we're kind of, I think it might be called as near carnivore as we're able to get. So we mainly eat the chicken on the bone, and now the smaller, more what Beth calls richy rich. This is when she would never think of buying this because it doesn't provide any broth, so she doesn't buy that. That's why I go and do the shopping. So now, right now, it's my job to ensure that we eat, and we eat regularly, we eat every day, and that we don't run out of money to eat. I make sure that because of Beth has a doctor's visit every other month, which we have to go to. She has a maintenance medicine to help her through this course that she is going through now, which she will hang me by the thumbs if I tell you what it is, but she's doing fine and she's still working very hard. That's a given. The woman is well, it's not for no reason that I call her my what is it? What do I call her? My warrior lady, warrior friend, warrior princess. That's it. I haven't said that for a little while. I should remind her that I call her that. So, in among all of this, we face, without complaint, we face a fairly modest, trimmed down Christmas. For me, for some reason, other than the spiritual side of Christmas, I rarely seem to be in a good place financially. It always seems that we've been packed down by bills. We have a very big tax bill coming up because they decided that they would charge us the full amount on our resort. Why would you do that, sir? Beth asked when they came to do the valuation. He said, because it has a roof on. That was when everything was bare concrete. Nothing had been plastered, no tiles on the floor, but it had a roof on. So we face this. Now, you have to have some kind, if you're going to come and live here, you have to have some kind of way, some method of getting through and not ending up eating just rice and maybe a can of corned beef. A lot of families do live this way, not usually with a foreigner, because a foreigner comes over and has, like I do, has a pension. In our case, it's a modest pension, but we can live on it if we don't support this resort. And I'm having to dish out some tough love on this now. I say, and it's taken a while, gradually instill the discipline of feeding ourselves first for a long time, nearly 10 years as we've done our mission work, our charity work of helping people who are in a lot of hardship compared to us. But what would happen if I don't do that is that we will gradually not be put on the priorities list. We won't be low down, we just won't be on it, because it's very, very hard, very hard. We have an old lady that at one time, one very generous man who saw her story. She looks at least 100. She says that she's 83, and 10 years later she still says that she's 83. Right from the start I thought that she was 100, but there's no birth certificate, and when you look at her face, it looks like one of those aged leather jackets, just full of cracks. She's over 100 now. And one very generous donor said, I want her to have this money as it translates, as it converts from dollars. And he sent 13,000 pesos, which we gave to her, against our better judgment, but that was his choice, and it all went. Because Filipinos do not know how to not share. They just don't know how to do it. And if they have it, they will use it. And if they have more than they usually have, they'll share it. And if you're a foreigner and you're going to change all of that, I think again. But now I'm in charge of our pensions, my pensions, which I insist will be used to keep us both healthy. So we have our vitamins, we have at least the right food. We do the intermittent fasting, and we only eat 2 meals a day anyway, so we're doing pretty good. Okay, now that's all that I have to tell you, and we are going to continue through Christmas as we have been doing for the last 10 years. We have enough food here. I'll show you the food that we have. I've got the fruit here, the meat, the bills here, our canned food, the mighty lump of bacon. See, look, you can see this, 600 pesos. And I'll get this in the freezer now, and we're going to eat very soon. Yes, I do have this. Now the thing about sharing is no point in me telling Beth that I don't want her to give this, because we have rice on the countertop, which is in a container. We have more than enough rice for a few days for us. So I know that this 5-kilo bag, unless I hide it, really, she will give it away. Those old ladies come here, and they usually come. They didn't come today, I'm very surprised. But believe me, it's Christmas, they'll be here, and we'll give them some money. And then I usually come back and I say, what happened to the rice? Oh, yes, well, I just gave them a little. I said, but you gave it all. See, I nearly got into being the ugly American then. So, thanks for looking in. I wish you a most joyful Christmas. Not happy holidays. If that's your choice, okay, great. But for me, a Merry Christmas. And I know from Beth too, but she's skiving somewhere because I'm doing this, and there's washing up to be done. Merry Christmas.